Dear friends, welcome to Khanversations. I'm Muqtedar Khan, your host. And today I want to talk very briefly about this, I don't know what to call it, this U-turn performed by the Pakistani Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif. He first announced that he wanted to have honest talks with India to resolve the matters, resolve critical issues that have brought these countries to several wars. He also said that Pakistan had learned its lesson from all of these wars, which means that peace is better than war. I guess that's what he was trying to imply, or he was also perhaps suggesting that the fact that Pakistan practically lost every war that it fought with India, it was perhaps now that they had realized and learned their lesson. But then the very next day, the Prime Minister's office clarified, and basically we are back to where we were before Shahbaz Sharif made this announcement on Al Arabiya, a United Arab Emirates television channel, in which he also showed us that he speaks a little bit of the Arabic language. So, what does it really mean? I mean, there's a lot of commentary already done, but I think I have some inkling of what really happened, and I wanted to share that with you. So before we go any further, please subscribe to Khanversations. Be sure to like this video. Press the bell icon so you get notifications when I do new videos. I also want you to, guys, to remember that tomorrow, for the first time, I will be going live. And if you can see in the community place, the community side of the channel, if you see on Twitter, I have posted the link to the live, my attempt to go live. And let's see how it goes. Inshallah, I hope it goes well. So let's come back and talk about Shahbaz Sharif. I also wanted to share with you that I'm currently really very busy doing a program on American foreign policy, and also this is the admission season for PhD students at the University of Delaware. So all of that have come together just this week. So there is less production of videos on Khanversations. And so I hope you understand. So Shahbaz Sharif said that Pakistan had learned its lesson from the wars that it had fought. He mentioned 3 wars, but some people would say there were 4 wars. And so he now wants to have an honest dialogue with India to resolve the differences between the two countries. And then he goes on to talk about even India's treatment of its minorities. As an Indian Muslim, I can tell you I'm concerned about the treatment of minorities in India, especially Muslim minorities, and also those who come from the backward classes, the Dalits. However, I will also tell you categorically that if I was asked the question 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, would I be a Muslim in India or a Hindu in Pakistan? Let me tell you, every time I would pick to be a Muslim in India. So when we are critical of India's treatment of its minorities, it's like saying we are critical of the fact that we have a Rolls Royce in which the clock makes some noise. It doesn't mean that Pakistan is a better country or other countries are better. So that is the point that we have to understand. The state of minority rights in India is a matter of dialogue for the minorities in India and the majority in India. It is none of Pakistan's business, especially because one of the reasons why Muslims are so hated in India by a small segment of Indians is because of some of the cross-border terrorisms that Pakistan has done to India, especially the attack in Mumbai and attacks on India's parliament and so on. Shahbaz Sharif went on a television channel in United Arab Emirates. Shahbaz Sharif is on this global, shall we say, cruise or tour, basically asking for money and some financial assistance so that he can rescue his country from the financial fix that it is. Pakistan needs a lot of help to recover from the floods. The damages are about $30 billion in terms of damages and losses, and so they need more than $16 billion to fix it. And then they also need money to basically have foreign exchange so that they are not forced to default on their loans. So these are 2 immediate crises. And in the absence of foreign currency, they are not even able to import essential items like medicine, food, etc., from overseas, and so they're having energy crisis, and they're cutting power and so on, which then reduces industrial output and then undermines the economy. So he's an economic fix. We all understand that. I've spoken about it on other channels and on my show too. Now, if you look at the Geneva Donors Conference organized by Pakistan and the United Nations, they got about $10 billion. But the biggest donor missing there was United Arab Emirates, one of the richest countries in the world. And that was interesting as to why UAE did not contribute to helping Pakistan. Yes, they are rolling over loans, and they might even be giving oil at a discount to Pakistan. They may have made other unilateral or bilateral promises, but at that event, there was no UAE. So I suspect that Mr. Shahbaz Sharif is in dialogue with the Gulf countries to be helped out. Now, what has happened in the last 5 to 10 years is many of these Gulf countries have become better friends of India than they are of Pakistan. So I suspect, I have no secret evidence or access to intelligence that you don't, but I think that United Arab Emirates, which is not just India's second biggest, one of the biggest exporter of oil to India, is a big trading partner of India, but is also with India in I2U2, an emerging economic and geopolitical alliance with US and Israel. So I think as a I2U2 partner, perhaps the Gulf countries, especially United Arab Emirates, are putting pressure on Pakistan and saying, look, you need to get your act together. And one of the things that you need to do is to end this nonsense that is going on with India, make peace with India, and you and I then can be prosperous because we are heavily invested in India. There might come a point where heavy investments in India may lead India to demand that the Arab countries then turn against Pakistan. So before that moment arrives, I think the Gulf countries are putting pressure on Pakistan to make amends. So Shahbaz Sharif goes to UAE to ask for money. And so in order to sort of appease the powers that be in UAE, he says, oh, we are open to dialogue with India. We want to resolve. We want to be peaceful. We have learned our lesson. We are not going to be belligerent. We are not going to wage any more wars, etc. But the problem is the Prime Minister of Pakistan, these matters, especially matters concerning India, he is not qualified to make decisions on foreign policy. As a prime minister, the establishment that the military would not allow him to do this. And in his specific case, he's such a weak prime minister and his government has such a little legitimacy at the moment in Pakistan that he cannot make these big decisions by himself. So probably the new army chief of Pakistan sent him a message saying, what is this you're doing? Come on, back off. It's like the White House does occasionally when Biden, makes a foreign policy gaffe. But the difference is that Biden can fire all the people who work for him in the White House. This prime minister cannot fire the people in the military establishment. They probably can get rid of him. So I have a feeling that these two things have happened. Pakistan is under pressure from the Gulf nations to somehow resolve the matter with India and improve relations with India. And that's why I spend less money on defense, spend more on economy, and stop going around asking for money from them. And the second thing is the military said, no way, Jose, you cannot do this. This is the reason why we exist. If we don't have conflict with India, why will Pakistan need a military force? Why will it need to pamper the generals? And why will they need to give so much of its economic resources to the military? So as far as the military is concerned, this is an existential issue for them, and they will not easily make peace with India unless they are really compelled to do so. So these are the two things I think that explains this drama, this tamasha, geopolitical tamasha that Pakistan's Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif presented to all of us. And I must say that it gave a lot of food for comedians on the Indian side. And I was watching some of the Twitter discussions, and lots of people were making really, really funny comments about it. So I hope you found this brief analysis of what really might have happened. Interesting, and so please subscribe to Khanversations, like the video, share it with your friends. I'm Muqtedar Khan, the host of Khanversations. I will see you live tomorrow, 11 a.m. US time, 9:30 p.m. Indian time. You can go to the channel and look at live, and you will see the video there. So thank you very much. Take care of yourself.